What is good, YouTube, and welcome back to another 7 Nights Rebirth video. And today we are talking all about Guild Wars defense teams. A lot of you guys have been asking what the best teams are for Guild Wars defense. My guild floats around the top 5-ish, top 10-ish bracket. Currently we are rank 3, and I face pretty much every single guild in this top 10 bracket for global. Also, I've been watching a lot of Korean streamers do their Guild Wars as well. And I'm just going to share with you guys the guild defense teams that people are using and the ones that seem to be the strongest and also give a lot of people trouble. So I'll actually show you guys in the Nightmare Adventure interface because it's just easier to see. And when you're fighting Guild Wars, this is the layout that you'll probably do anyways. So I'm going to show you guys, the teams that are going to be very good here and some common builds people run. Of course, everyone will run different builds, and it's really hard to strictly follow a build. So you want to improvise with the characters that you have and the gear that is available. But I'll share with you guys my build and also what other people are actually running on their builds. So the first team is going to revolve around Kyle, the best character in the game, obviously. And the most common setup you're going to see with Kyle is with Kagura, these two for sure. Then the last slot, it's going to be another attack character. So some people like to run Tio, but the most common one you're going to see instead of Tio right now is going to be Amelia. The reason why you're going to run this setup is because Amelia actually has a Dispel, she also has a Revive, and you really do like to have 2 CC characters with Kyle because Kyle's damage is absolutely insane. You want to make this team as fast as possible. You can see my speed is about 267 here. And what you want to do is make your team either very, very fast, or you want to have Amelia on Orchestrator. So you can see I only have 2 set, but ideally you want 4 set. I just kind of gave it up for speed. And the reason why is because the skill queue is going to look something like this. So you go Kagura first. If she gets resisted or you get outsped and the enemy Kagura, stuns you, petrifies you, then your Orchestrator set, Amelia, can then use her entry denied and stall for your team to get unpetrified. Now, of course, if you do go first and you land your CC and Kyle goes uninterrupted after, you're probably going to win anyways. But you're just mostly bringing Amelia for the safety. She is here to apply another layer of CC. She also has this barrier for your team, also can revive and do debuff removal so your Kyle can take turns. But this is going to be one of the most common defenses you'll find, if not the most common, and I think it is the strongest one. And usually the way that people are countering this right now is going to be just mirroring. You're going to fight it with your own Kyle because, yeah, Kyle is just really strong. This setup is really, really powerful. Now, the second strongest team that you're going to find here is going to be not in this formation, in the attack formation. I found this one to be pretty much the second strongest team, or the strongest depending on how you look at it. It's going to be with Colt, Phi, and also Platin. So if you guys don't have Phi, I'll give you guys some other alternatives because you can swap out Phi, but Colt and Platin together are absolutely crazy. So the reason why this setup is so strong is because Platin as a solo frontline, even in an arena, when you're 1v4ing with him or 1v5ing at the end of battles, he's insane. The reason why is because he has so much damage and he is giga tanky when you have this protective formation. You can see he's getting 42% extra defense. And because he scales with defense, yeah, he just does insane damage while being unkillable basically. The only thing with this setup is you do want him on a Revive, Resurrection, Ring, and 5-star or higher is ideal, but 4-star is okay as well. And you do need really high block rate with a lot of defense. This defense is very strong because, yeah, Platin's here to do just Platin things and never die and also heal and do damage. But also because Colt is insanely broken. So the thing with Colt is she can one-shot characters with this time for a show. Also, she can CC them, and if you don't, you can also apply attack reduction. Just absolutely crazy OP. You can build her on high speed, and you get a lot of damage from it. You also get camouflage, you also get guts, you also get barrier, so you can't get CC'd, and you're unkillable for the first few turns. It makes this duo insanely powerful because usually the way you beat Platins, not really, but you want to kind of CC, but Colt is un-CCable, and if you try to bring Kyles against this team, she can cripple the enemy Kyle. Now, of course, Kyle teams do actually win against the Platin Phi Colt team because these debuffs can get dispelled off easily by Kagura and Amelia, but this does so much damage if you build your Colt very well, which I'll have a video on Colt and also Platin separately because I think these two characters are extremely broken and characters you definitely want to get to T6 for PvP. But yeah, they're absolutely crazy together. And the reason why you have Phi here is because Phi counters Platin. So if people try to mirror your team with another Platin team, Phi's execution can one-shot Platins once they get to like 50%. So extremely powerful against Platins. You can actually sub out Phi for a lot of other characters. I've also seen people use something like a Kyriel if you want, because Kyriel is also very tanky and does, you know, a decent amount of damage with CC. I've seen people use something like a Ballista. I think people actually like Ballista with this combo because she can also do a ton of damage, and she also has Camouflage, which makes her immune to CC. So yeah, a lot of options you can use, but Colt and Platin will make the makeup for this team. And usually what you want to do is you want to lead with Colt's first skill, and then you want to go for the HP alteration, because this will also have buff removal on anything that revives with immortality. Colt will usually one-shot if you have her geared well enough on very squishy characters. Then after that, what I like to do is Phi's top skill here. So that's the rotation I do. Pretty simple. Does a lot of damage, destroys everything. Very, very powerful. Now, in terms of another team. So this team is going to revolve around Vanessa's. So Vanessa is a very powerful character. This character is going to be absolutely crazy, especially at T6. The reason why is because her Sandstorm removes buffs and also increases skill cooldown. So if you make your Vanessa super fast, she can counter those Orchestrator set characters and also disrupt them. And if you actually skill enhance it, for 2 turns, the enemies won't be using skills. So Vanessa teams are very common. There's a lot of different ways you can set her up. You can go like Vanessa with Jury and then also like Mercure. Some people run something like this, I've seen. If I can find my Mercure here. You can also run Yanni here. You can also run just like whatever, you know, DPS in the back that's a magic character. You don't even have to run Mercure. You can run something like Alicia here like this. But the core thing about Vanessa teams is you basically just want another CC'er with her and another damage dealer. And then you want to make sure you use Vanessa's skill first. Now, I will say, you do need to go very fast on this team. So my speed 143 is not going to cut it. I don't personally use this team, but I've seen this team a lot, and it's super annoying to fight against, because if Vanessa outspeeds you, for the most part, then she's going to just mess up your day, because the skill cooldown increase is absolutely busted. So that is one of the stronger teams you can also fight. Not the strongest, because the other 2 teams I mentioned can win pretty easily, but this is also a setup around Vanessa that is very strong. Now I'll show you guys another one. I know there's so many different team comps, so it's really hard to say which one's the best outside of the first 2, but this one's also really good, and this is going to revolve around if you have Rosie. So this is what people are running right now. You run Rosie Nia, because Rosie will actually buff the effect probability of your skills landing by 20% on universal characters, which is this purple one. So you can actually make it so that this buff duration reduction and skill cooldown increase is pretty much 100% if you have this not brilliant Hydra Staff, this Spellweaver set, right? You get 10% effect probability, you get 70% base rate from Time Leap, then you get 20% from Rosie. So basically, you are dispelling all immunity sets, Orchestrator sets, and you are landing skill cooldown increase. This combo is super broken. I've seen a lot of the top players use this. It is so frustrating to play against, and this just disrupts the enemies for so long. I will say, you do really want to actually upgrade this to the skill enhancement, because this will disable the enemies for 2 turns. And in the back, you're just going to run whatever DPS. It doesn't really matter. You just want a fast DPS that is tanky enough to live through, you know, basic attacks. So Yanni's fine, Kyriel is fine. You can run just basically anything. Tio is fine. I'm sure just whatever damage dealer is okay. But the only thing is, you need to go very fast. So you want to go first, and what you want to set up is, you know, the Time Leap ability, and then your DPS's ability, and then you want to do the Megavolt, so you can re-CC. Basically, what you want to do, yeah, and this team's pretty strong. It's very hard to counter. The way you counter it is just by outspeeding it, or just having enough tankiness to live through, which is pretty hard to do. but not that hard, because you have to realize Rosie and Nia, they don't really do too much damage, so you just have to be able to survive through that one DPS's burst, and you'll be okay. So that is another common team people use. There's going to be one more that you will see a lot, and that is going to revolve around Tio. So Tio comps aren't nearly as good as before because Kyle counters it, the Colt Platin team counters it as well, but Tio is still a character you want to utilize because he is still decently strong. Now the characters you want to bring with him, it's a lot more flexible because unlike Kyle, he doesn't have this passive where you need 3 attack characters, so there's a lot of different ways to play Tio. The one that I would recommend, because it just requires lower speed, and this is one that I like to use a lot, not the most successful, but it does snag some wins sometimes, is with Yushin. The reason why is because with Yushin, you can run him on Orchestrator set, and at T2, he gets this 3 ally debuff removal, which is perfect for Guild Wars, and a 3 enemy CC. So you can basically have him use his dogs, and if you get outsped, which is fine, you can dispel your team and CC them, and if you outspeed, then you could just CC them. And you could run this team very slow to guarantee that you get outsped and focus all of your stats into damage and tankiness. Now the last slot, it's really up to you. I've seen people use a ton of different characters. If you have Rachel, you can even use Rachel here, especially at T6, because this is super strong at T6. This applies to 3 targets. You can really cripple enemies and make them do like no damage, so not Biscuit. Rachel works. You can also use Amelia if you want, but probably not because it kind of overlaps the CC, but you would probably just use her for the defense reduction, debuff, and the Starfall. Or you could just use like whatever. It doesn't really matter. Eileen's fine for another layer of CC. She also buffs your team's physical attack. Even Dellen's is okay. But what you want to do is just make sure that you lead with Yushin's bottom skill, and then you can start doing damage abilities. So that is another team that you can use. Now I did briefly mention Amelia. I know she just came out. The thing with Amelia is she fits into so many comps. There's no like best comp for her. You can basically just slot her in whenever you want to run a slower team. And you can see with the Orchestrator set, similar to how Yushin works and how I explained it, you start with crowd control immunity, you go second, your team will get debuffed by stuff like Kagura's and stuff like that, and you can literally just dispel it off while disabling the enemy teams with your silence or even the increased miss chance. And she also has a defense reduction, so this character is very flexible. You can slot her into a lot of teams. She works similar to Vanessa because of her passive, but she's like a mixture between Vanessa and Yushin, and she works very good in slow teams. So if you guys do have Yushin and also, what's her name, Amelia built, these 2 characters are very good to slot in on Orchestrator set within any team because they have this dispel. So it allows you to go second and you don't have to worry about outspeeding because a lot of the other teams rely on outspeeding a lot of the times. So yeah. And for you guys that want to see like examples of some team comps, you can see, you know, a lot of the team comps that I mentioned are actually going to be in the enemy guild that we're fighting, right? You could see, you know, the Tio comp with Eileen, instead of Yushin here, they have Amelia, which works as that cleanser, right? You could see the Kyle Kagura combo is very, very common in a lot of the teams with Amelia here at the top. I think there was also a Platin team, although I think they should probably run it more, this guild, because it's super, super strong. However, I do run the Platin team on the top here, you could see, and it did win. Actually, both of the Platin teams here are just winning. So you can see like this team is very common, but yeah. Pretty much it for this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.